I go have fun. Go just do what you do is basically. And when a young guy comes up for the first time, you just want to see him compete. Just compete and give us the best you got. And it's difficult because there's a lot of emotions that go into it. There's a lot of anxiety that goes into it. So get through the first inning, and then we'll see if we can get you on a roll.
When's the last time that you remember this type of anticipation for a starter coming up from the minors?
Oh, well, I think there was, some anticipation here for Hughes and Kennedy in 2008 when we had them both going into the rotation. People had seen them before, but they were pretty young. But besides that, it's really hard for me to remember.
Is McCann available at all tonight?
He'll be available if I need him. So his knee's a little banged up. He had a little MRI. There's a little inflammation in it. So try to give him a couple days off and see where he's at.
Dave.
Joe, it hasn't been the Yankees' MO a lot to rely a lot on younger players. A lot of times they've gone with more experienced, older, established guys. What's kind of the trade-off there? Obviously, you have guys with less experience, but younger guys do bring some energy to the team and stuff like that. Do you think that's a big benefit?
No, I think that's a plus. I think with the young guys that we've had this year, we've been able to keep a rotating system, and it just seems to me every time that they come up, they feel more comfortable and perform at a higher level, and what it ends up doing is giving you a lot of depth in your organization, which, as we've seen with injuries the last couple of years, is really important. I think those are the huge benefits, and you reap the rewards of all the work that the people who scouted these players to find them, the development people that put all the time into them to get them ready, and you reap those rewards.
Sweeney.
Did you catch Pryor? Did you catch his debut or anybody like that?
Yeah, well, I caught him, but there's a lot of foul tips there, Sweeney, and I don't remember if it was his debut. I want to say I did.
When you had
there was high anticipation for him. As I look back, that's probably the most anticipation of a young player that I was around.
When you caught somebody making his debut, whether there was that kind of hype or just a guy making his first start, as a catcher, what did you try to do and tell him?
This is what I would tell him. You know yourself better than I do. So you throw what you feel is the right pitch at the right time. And if I really feel that it's the wrong pitch, I'll come out. Don't doubt yourself. Throw everything with conviction, and we'll go from there. I'm okay with it.
Barry and Dan.
Do you consider Tanaka to be kind of an older pitcher? Because there was obviously a lot of anticipation about him.
Yeah, I think that's different than a guy making his first, in a sense, big league start. Tanaka had made many big league starts in Japan and pitched in the playoffs and was probably a lot more used to the attention than a Severino would be.
And you can't remember anybody off your Yankee teams from the era because they kept running through.
Yeah, we had a lot of veteran players.
Yeah.
I think we had young players come up and make an impact, huge impact. Whether it was an Andy Pettit, a Georgie, a Jeet, a Mo. But I don't know if the anticipation was quite as great. There was a lot of anticipation around Jeet, but it's pretty big.
Joe, having Murphy behind the plate for Severino, what are the challenges with having a young guy, an inexperienced catcher in the majors, catching a guy in his major league debut?
I don't know if there's a ton of challenges here. Because I think Murph does a really good job and has an understanding of the league and what he needs to do and follows the game plans well. Him and Mac work very closely together, and they talk about situations and really pull for each other. In a sense, it might be easier for a young pitcher to shake off a young catcher and feel like, this is what I want to throw. I'm a little bit nervous shaking off a guy that's, 5 Silver Sluggers, 5, All-Star games, and been an established catcher. So I don't really think there's any downside to it.
Bill and Mark.
Is there a is there a pitch count on him tonight?
Well, he's been a guy that's went around 100, so I would think that we would keep it around there.
Mark?
Joe, I think you guys lead the league in runs since the All-Star break. When you look at your lineup for the first half, it was so much of the top guys really doing everything. How big has it been to have Hadley, Drew, Didi, Chris Young, et cetera, really contributing the way they have?
Well, it's been outstanding, and I think that's probably why we lead, baseball in runs in the second half, because it's been everyone. It just hasn't been a few guys, and you don't have to rely on a few guys all the time. And to get through our lineup, teams are finding, and lately it's been much more difficult. There is not an easy inning, and that wears on people, and that's what we want the rest of the year.
Brian and Chad?
I know Severino didn't throw a ton of innings for you in spring training, but did he remind you of anybody? Was there a comparison that jumped out at you?
No, I don't think I saw enough of him. I'm sure as I watch a couple starts, maybe something will come to mind, but as of right now, no.
Chad?
So what's the conversation like with Garrett Jones when he came back? I mean, it's obviously he seems to get it and understand the situation, but it's a bit odd.
Well, yeah, but I think everyone's happy to see him, and we welcomed him back, and obviously he, understood the situation here and our team, and is familiar with everything, and is comfortable, so it's really kind of easy.
He grew a beard, though. He had to, in the few days. Yeah, he was. I saw him. He was shaving. I'm sorry. Who else had a question? Wally?
Joe, there was a lot of questions about your decision last night with Betances and Wilson. I'm not asking you to explain it because you made it pretty clear you don't want to, but the pitchers involved both said they had never seen anything like it before. Did you find it necessary to explain it to them why you did it that way?
If I did, I wouldn't tell you. The conversations that I had with our players, but my door is always open for players to come in and see me and ask questions and discuss it. And when situations arise that players don't understand, I usually seek them out and try to explain it to them.
Billy?
Well, Justin and Dellin and McCann, too, said they'd never seen or been involved in a situation like that. Do you think that Dellin may have been thrown off by that, or that he was...
I don't know. I mean, you guys are asking me to play God, right, and figure out why he didn't throw a strike to Bradley. I mean, some people might say he hasn't pitched in 4 days. I don't know. The bottom line is we won the game, and that's, to me, the bottom line here. And we're going in. To me, we've played extremely well. And, yeah, it's something that they've never seen. Has it happened in baseball? Absolutely. You stick around long enough, you see most things, but you never see everything.
Marley?
Joe, does one manage a game differently with a young starter on the mound making his big lead start, first big?
Oh, I think you do. I think you, in games like this, you think about trying to get them on a good note if you can. Those sort of situations, so they can build off it. A guy that's been through it, if he goes through a tough situation, you don't really worry about it because there's a lot of success on the other side, and he knows how to rebound from those. But you try to get him out on a good note.